Play it on Xbox One.
Hello and welcome to this month's live stream right here from Playground Games in Leamington Spa. Today we're bringing you everything from Update 10, and my name's Richard Crystal, and with me today we have Matt. How are you, Matt?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, I'm good. Been playing anything good?
Yeah, there was a Steam sale on, so I picked
Nice.
up loads of things that I'm now going to have to work my way through. A few expansions for various games like City Skylines and also Watch Dogs as well.
Watch Dogs is a good game, I like that one.
Yeah.
Played that. And also with me we've got Chris. How are you, Chris?
Yeah, I'm good, sir.
What have you been up to? Did you finally get the fish?
I have. I got 3 legendary fish.
Yes!
in Red Dead. So,
3, not just one.
yeah, so
Saga
that's
concludes.
basically been me. Yeah.
And also on the couch we got Tobin. How are you, Tobin?
Tired. I just got Kerbal Space Program's expansion breaking
Nice.
ground, so I've been ruining Kerbals all over the place. But it's a really solid expansion. It's great.
Cool. So speaking about expansions, I know you guys out there have been wanting to hear a little bit more about expansion 2. As you might have seen on Twitter, we won't be discussing it in stream today, but we can assure you that we are excited and we are working hard on it right now. So guys, why don't we have a look at what's going on today in stream? So coming up, we've got our festival playlist. We'll talk you through the next several seasons that we've got up and coming. Following that, we've got our reward cards. There is some brand new cards and a brand new feature, which will give you a little bit more information out, called Star Card. Then we've got our photo slideshow from you guys, the community. We've got some new additions to custom adventure and changes, which then also brings us up to our future updates and fixes. And don't forget our final thing, which is our Q&A. If anyone has any questions in the stream, you know the drill, type "Hey Tom" in the chat and we'll check out your questions and answer them right at the end. So let's get started. Shall we move on to festival playlist?
Yeah, let's dive right in.
Nice.
So here we go.
Yeah, let's put it into Forza Vista, so you need to get out of that. Sorry
Show them what's coming up.
Sorry.
I'm about to say we've got some really nice cars coming up, which we can show the guys.
Yeah, so rather obviously just sitting here, we've got the Rimac Concept 2 for its full name. This thing's amazing. We'll do a deep dive into it later on and really show it off. But it's a very fast car. This one, I think people will love it.
Just going to bring up the festival playlist and let's go through it. So let's start with the series as a whole. So for 50% completion, you'll be able to grab the Bentley Continental Forza Edition. Pretty cool car, based on a racing car, I believe, with a skills boost on it. Am I right, Chris?
Skills or speed? I think it's speed on.
Oh, speed,
yeah.
right. Yeah, so that'll be pretty handy. And also the Cadillac Limousine, a fan favourite, we know. And
we'll call it the Drifterzine, but
yeah, that thing is amazing for drifting. So it's pretty rare that this has been out and available before. I think it was in the Forzathon shop
yeah,
once.
we had it in the Forzathon.
Yeah, and normally you can only get it through Wheelspin. So if you haven't got this car, this is a great chance for you to pick it up. Highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun.
And if you want to get a sense of just how well it can drift, I mean, you did a build for the Horizon story that was basically a drifting limousine.
Yeah, the last chapter, isn't it? Yeah, that's the drift scene, yeah.
And then while we're here looking at summer, the rewards you'll be able to grab from this series, we've got the KTM Crossbow GT4 or X-Bow. No, it's Crossbow, isn't it?
Yeah, I know it's the Crossbow. Whatever people want to call it.
Yeah, some people call it.
That's the GT4 race car version of it.
Yep, it's very cool. It's been out before, but yeah, Series 10 is packed full of opportunities for you to grab cars that we've released as rewards before, but not for a while. So that's an important note to mention, is that the cars come around again, and this is a great chance for you to grab some of them that have been out before, including the Honda Civic as well. So that's that car was added way back in Series 1. Yeah. I think it may have had 1 or 2 outings, but it's certainly not many. So great opportunity to grab that. Same goes for the Honda NSXR in this championship right here. Normally just a Wheelspin exclusive, I think. And then we've got some new community championships. This one carries with it a new car, which is the Maserati Ghibli. It's going to be great.
Look at that.
Yeah, we'll do a deep dive into that.
Yeah.
And also the VW GRC Beetle, another Wheelspin exclusive. And we've got the Rimac right here, featured in our monthly Rivals event. It's a bit of like a old meets new event where you'll be racing this brand new, incredible electric hypercar on our heritage circuit. So
it's a good circuit, that as well.
Yeah. And then let's go and have a look at autumn. Where,
just want to mention one thing as well. Sorry, I sent a few things in chat on about different types of cars which people want. Just want to remind you guys, if you've got any other cars that you'd like in the game, make sure you mention them on the car wish list thread. I say mention it there rather than our chat, just because it means we can take a look ourselves and have a look. Well, obviously sometimes we can miss things in chat, and we want to make sure that everything is heard. So definitely mention everything in that thread instead.
And we do definitely check that. We've got some coming up in the next series that are
oh, nice. So yeah, that is the place to post it. Definitely do that. Right, should we move on to autumn?
Yeah, let's carry on. So we've got the Fiat Dino Coupe from 1969. I love that car because it's such a blend of like American and European like car body styles. It's really cool. It looked right at home on the streets of Rome, I think.
Yeah, it's a beautiful car.
And the Aventador as well, yeah. Fantastic car.
That's an expensive car too.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the SV, isn't it?
The rewards are really good this series, so yeah, make sure you're grabbing all of them. Forzathon about Porsche, and let's have a look through here. Oh yes, I should mention that we've had a go at making some custom routes as well, some route blueprints, and made some championships. So that was put together by routes, with routes made by various developers around the studio. I think I've chucked a couple in there. Some of our other designers have as well. And then we've got a Chevy Camaro, normally a Wheelspin exclusive. And the Hummer H1 as well, same story there, that normally you can only get that car in Wheelspin. I don't think we've ever used it as a championship reward before.
But just go back, I saw something possibly even more important than that. The sweater there.
What's a skill event?
Horizon. Skill event.
Horizon.
Yes.
Was that a joke?
It depends how you look at it. It's one of the greatest sci-fi movies ever.
Okay. Moving swiftly on.
Throwing shade over here, my God. Push on.
And on that note.
In winter, for 50%, we've got the Hoonigan Fiesta and the Fox Body Mustang.
I love that thing.
Yeah, bit controversial, I think, the 90s Mustangs.
I think they're coming back. They were the cheaper of the Mustangs to buy second-hand, and I'm starting to see some great builds on them. Really cool cars.
The Lancia Delta, another Wheelspin exclusive car. So same for the Audi TT RS. And another new car. Is it new to Forza or just
no, this new to Horizon 4, the AMC Rebel.
Yeah, so we'll take a good look at that in a moment.
You're going to like the hood on it.
And then in spring,
this is where the Rimac is great.
Yeah, this is where you can grab the Rimac. So the series goes out with a bang. A lot of fans will be pleased to see the bug-eyed Subaru there as well, I think. And then Wheelspin exclusive again for the Porsche Cayenne. The green man doing the dab. Fantastic image work from our UI artists to capture all of these pictures that we use on the festival playlist.
Dab is the top one of them all.
And our second developer championship. So we've got 2 community championships, 2 developer championships, and they alternate. And that's another Wheelspin exclusive and a casual legendary car for the back to the 90s.
The cheeky F50 there.
Yes, yeah, great car. So let's go in.
That's a bunch of cars to look forward to there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cars, yeah.
So I'm going to hand over to Chris, I think, and you're going to take us through some of these reward cars.
So let's start off with the Rimac here.
You mentioned this is an electric hypercar.
This is electric, yeah. So just shy of 1900 horsepower. This. So let's pull up and show its party piece, which is how fast it can accelerate.
I'd say that's going to have some speed, right? Let's go.
60's gone by in 1.8 seconds. I can't remember the 0 to 100 stat. It's in the 4 seconds from memory.
Wow.
And top speed 250, gear limited. But if you work out the numbers on it, with this amount of power, it could do about 320 with the right gearing, which is just insane.
That is,
so it only has 2 gears, right?
Yeah, so it's got 4 motors, 2 gears on the rear 2 motors. So each motor has its own gearbox, which is pretty cool.
Whoa,
out of the way, minis.
And that means because it's got 4 motors, it can do both positive and negative torque vectoring. So it can use the motors in regeneration to rotate the car.
So yeah, it's one motor per wheel, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're all independent.
Can I try it out?
Yeah, go for it. So Rimac's quite a new company for cars. They kind of cut their thing is making batteries and battery control systems.
Yeah, it's quite oversteery.
1900 horsepower.
That's true.
So they make batteries for people like Koenigsegg, and they start making their own cars, Concept 1 and now the Concept 2.
Yeah, if you get some good tunes on that, imagine. Quite interesting to see how fast and far that can go.
You know, it's almost feeling like traction control is off. I mean, I just get rumble almost immediately when I put it down.
Yeah, a lot of power.
Yeah, the traction control on this is tuned to hit peak slip because it's got electric motors, so you can modulate the throttle much quicker than you can with internal combustion engine.
So when you say launch control, this is what my mind goes to.
Yeah, so we accurately model the launch control, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so as he launches, it's going to hold the car at peak slip, so it's got the best launch you can get.
Look
at active aero as well.
That's nice.
Yeah. I think it depends in the quarter mile.
That's
nice.
really, really cool.
Nailed it.
Yeah, so this is an absolutely great car. I know it's also one that the community's been asking for as well.
Yeah.
And look at that interior.
Oh, is that like a G meter on the way?
I hadn't seen that. That's
a
nice.
G-meter.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that's
I'll
good.
brake. Oh, yeah. Positive G's, and oh, look at that.
Oh, that's nice.
That's really, really nice. Okay.
So while we're at the drag strip, I suppose we can show off another one of the reward cars.
Okay.
Running onto my cars. And this is the one that I said you might be quite like, the Rebel Machine.
Okay.
Yes, this is another one with the tachometer on the hood, which you seemed to love so much last time on the Buick.
I mean, it's one of these. What is this even?
So, after we saw the Buick on the last live stream, I had a look into this, and apparently it's a design quirk that started in the 70s with Pontiac.
Okay.
And the only plausible explanation I could come across was that when you're drag racing in a muscle car, it's kind of closer to being in your line of sight. So I guess that's the thinking there.
Look at that. I love this thing. But it's definitely not quite as fast as the Rimac.
No.
No, I was about to say.
It's not.
That is.
But for, what, 1970 was this? 1971, something
Yeah.
like that? It was a quick car still. So yeah, this thing's awesome. If you go into Chase Cam as well, awesome paint scheme on this.
Yeah, decked out in red, white, and blue.
Yeah,
It's really, really nice.
it's a really cool car.
Turn around.
So
And smashing through the walls.
I think if you look at the front as well, Torben, it's like, yeah, you see the red, white, and blue stripes on the grille as well.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
It's a nice touch.
Yeah.
it's very American.
That's great. Okay, what else have we
I was about
got?
to say, got one more?
I suppose speaking of very American, the Fiat Dino is a nice one to look at.
Yes. I love
Why is this
car.
American?
It's not technically. I feel like it's got a kind of American vibe to its design. It's very like American Italian looking for me.
Yeah.
It has an air of
Pony
muscle
car
car,
vibes.
yeah, with the big long bonnet on it, that kind of face as well. It just, yeah.
Wow, look at that.
You had a fact on this one, didn't you?
Oh yes, the name Dino comes from Enzo Ferrari's son, and you might think, well, it's a Fiat. Why is it named after a Ferrari person? And it's because back in the 60s, Ferrari, quite a small manufacturer, they couldn't build enough cars to homologate their racing engines, so they made a deal with Fiat and said, hey, can you build us some engines to homologate them, please? And so this car was born. It's got a Ferrari engine in it, which is a V6, I think,
Yeah, pretty sure.
with an unusual angle between the two banks of cylinders as well. It went for 65 degrees, which was pretty unheard
It
of
is
at the
really
time.
unusual.
That's a lot wider than they would
Yeah.
normally go with.
I'm really digging that dash.
I was about to say, that
But
interior
yeah,
is just as nice.
Ferrari used the same engine in the Dino Coupe, but in the back of the car.
So that is 3 of the 4 new cars being added to the game.
Yep.
So
And we also have another classic, another Italian in the Maserati Ghibli, which is Super Saloon, kind of between Super GT, Super Saloon. It's in Super Saloon for our game, purely because it has 4 doors. So that was the deciding factor for us. V6 twin turbo in this one. It's a great car.
I absolutely love the logo.
The Trident.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
absolutely gorgeous.
For me on this car, it's the clock in the middle of the dash that's just fantastic looking.
It just oozes with like luxury and
Yeah.
performance, doesn't it? It's a great car.
Yeah, this is a car you could definitely cruise across the continent in and
Or
Oh, yeah, definitely.
in the case of what I'm doing here, which is like,
yeah, you're taking it down a dirt road.
I mean,
I
it is
don't think
all-wheel
Maserati
drive.
intended for that.
It is all-wheel drive.
That's true, yeah.
like stock all-wheel drive.
Yeah, stock all-wheel drive. Which also means it's got the most powerful version as well. 404 horsepower, I think. Going
Pretty
totally
powerful.
over there, yeah.
That's
So it moves, yeah.
car. And when this was in Festival Playlist and unlocking in
Oh, the Ghibli was in summer.
summer, so first up.
First week.
That's it there for the
There we
Community
go.
Championship.
Okay.
So that'll be Thursday, right? We can
Yeah,
change
mate.
over to that.
Maybe we can even have a go at that championship later if there's time.
Absolutely.
Sweet.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm really liking the fact that there are some new cars that we haven't seen before in the game, including I think our first electric.
Turn right.
Yes, yeah.
We've had some hybrid.
All electric.
Yeah, first all-electric car, yeah. And what an electric car to be our first one as well.
Yes, I know, it's really great. And just a great spread across the seasons as well. I'm really looking forward to kind of dipping into that. It's a bit of a confession, but I've kind of stopped going for full completion. I'm just kind of dipping in to get the stuff that I want.
It's all been.
I know, I'm terrible. Yes, I know.
What if it's 100%?
Yes.
But speaking about completion,
Oh, right, yes.
that will lead into our next topic. So,
Great segue.
yeah, here we go.
Very elegant,
That was
very
smooth, unplanned but smooth. But yeah, so as you know, we do have our brand new star card. We will move into that a little bit in a second. But this is a new feature within our update, which should be going live with the season changeover on Thursday, roughly about 3:30 BST. And just for those that have been asking for the update. But yeah, should we show them into our new feature?
So, star card. We teased this a little bit on our whiteboard. We didn't have as many pixels as we usually do, but we...
I was about to say, our Torben Tuesday. I know a lot of people out there, especially those that are very good at enhancing photos, tried their very best. We understand it was pixelated a little bit. We wanted to keep that way and let you work to find out what we were hinting this week. But yeah, for those that noticed the superstar, this is what it is.
Explicitly star card. So star card is essentially a checklist. It's a list of all the great stuff that you can do in the game and sets you some short-term and long-term goals to go out and just master everything. And the language here is you're becoming a superstar of the festival. But it's split into some different categories. So we have racing and PR stunts and exploring and creating content and completing stories and completing adventures. But inside each of these, there are basically two things. There is a flare that you can unlock to stick on your game attack when you do it, a little thing, but it's a way of showing that you are absolutely brilliant at, if we look into racing, it's completing all of these. So unlocking 70 races and then completing 70 races, driving 5,000 miles around the festival, or in this case, the length and breadth, which kind of calculates out to be about the same as driving across Europe and then driving from the bottom to the top of Europe. Which is a fun long-term objective for the game. It's a combination of stuff that will carry over. So races that you've unlocked, miles that you've driven will carry over, and a few new things that won't. For example, Showman and a very great Showman, which are about winning showcase events. And this isn't something that we tracked previously. Previously, if you look in your stats, it just says completed events. But we're actually asking you to go back and win them this time. I mean, who doesn't want to win their showcase events? But there's a way here to actually be rewarded for doing that. And also showcase remixes. So the eagle-eyed among you will see that this is also a commitment for a number of upcoming showcase remixes. And there are things that require you to go out and do finales and win head-to-head races. So really kind of a deep dive into all of the different racing that you can do in the game. PR stunts, exactly the same. Discover them and then do particular kinds of PR stunts, including possibly my favorite one here, which is a zone of danger.
Can't think where that's from.
Yes, well, I'm sure Lana would know if she was here. And exploring, which is basically going out and finding all the barn finds and smashing bonus boards, discovering beauty spots. The eagle-eyed will also know that if they have Fortune Island, they'll be able to complete these a little bit faster. That's cool.
What about when we add more cars?
Well, we'll see what happens then.
Okay.
This is about content creation, so for people who go out and...
for all our livery editors
exactly.
and
blueprinting, and
photographers.
exactly. This is about tracking that, and you get a flair for doing this as well. Something for stories, including a stat here, which is another one of the ones which is not retroactive, so you need to earn 2 million credits. So get out there and unlock Aisha's Taxis and World's Fastest and the car files and the other ones that will come in the future as well. And then finally, for online adventure, these are also not retroactive, but for anyone who's doing festival playlists, this is a couple of races and you're done. So with that in mind, let's actually set out and just take a look at how it works. So danger signs, I think, are a good place to start. And I don't know about you, but I always think that the best way to do a danger sign is in make a car.
The fastest possible car.
Yeah, which we have quite a fast car in this series, don't we?
I know, right?
The Rimac. Yeah, that could be
What a
quite good for it.
coincidence. Who put that there?
It's actually really cool. Anyone want to try this?
I can if you want.
Okay.
Go on. What should we do?
If you
Should we check
grab
out the windmill
map
one?
And let's do the
That's not the one.
No, it's not actually listed on there. Let's go and discover it and jump it at the same time.
Whereabouts is it? It's down here somewhere.
Yes, it is.
I can't remember
Just
which-
head down onto the road there.
It's where
You
that
see
little
where
white
the
dot
you
is.
see where the speed zone is?
Yep.
Directly below that, on top of that hill.
It's the wee white
Sorry.
I'll
dot.
just ping it over there, and because that's it. It's just straight, isn't it? Straight down. Oh wow, it does turn around very quick. I've not drove this yet. Oh wow, nice.
It's got a bit
Oh,
of
traffic.
it's got a little bit of oversteer.
Yeah, I was going to say it's quite smooth.
I mean, there are some interesting interactions between Festival Playlist and StarCard, because there are Festival Playlist challenges that will say go and get a certain number of PR stunts, complete a certain number of PR stunts, earn a certain number of stars, and those all just kind of channel together. So for people who are joining the game now, they will have some completion, but they will also have a chance to go out and
Let's get it straight.
check off multiple things at the same time.
It's always fun, isn't it, when you can double things up?
I clearly pay attention to traffic, as you can tell.
No, I've seen a few people say they really like it when they can like double up the weekly Forza-thon and a seasonal championship at the same time. So now you can triple up with StarCard as well.
Exactly.
Right, let's
it
line
is.
this up.
Right,
Let's
so-
go. See if we can hit top speed.
Yes, 250 miles an hour.
Come on. Oh god, am I going to miss this? This is.
You got it. Whoop.
Yeah. Ah! Wait. Oh, it didn't trigger it.
It's not unlocked.
I don't think
What?
I unlocked it.
We
Oh
haven't
no.
unlocked it. Oh,
Okay,
no.
rewind.
Well, I mean,
Wait, there is another danger sign we can.
yeah, there is another danger sign.
Oh, really?
Just fly through it, and then or turn around. See if you can turn around before you hit the windmill. Oh,
Turn
Or
around.
through the windmill.
Or
What?
turn-
What?
Just style it out.
Just style out where we're heading. Do you want me to turn back around?
Just jump through, and we'll
Okay.
grab a danger sign off the map.
God, those
Okay.
That's why it wasn't on the map. We've not unlocked it.
Right.
Whoops.
Oh, okay.
Look at that jump.
Look at that. That was a good jump.
And you slowed down beforehand.
I know. Oh man, personal best
Tell
right
you what,
there.
while we're here, go grab the speed zone, because all of it counts.
Yeah, good
Or is it
idea.
over here, isn't it?
Yeah, just follow your blue line.
There we go. Okay, let's go this way.
A fun note about the.
Ah, we got a
Daily
challenge
content.
complete. There we go.
Yes.
Towards my festival playlist. Sorted.
To your point, Matt, about kind of how the way things stack up and stack together. I mean, there are a lot of systems just kind of working together, roads unlocking. All of this is being tracked. So, I mean, this is an example, I think, of a feature that's really cool for people who are just joining
Oh,
the
it
game.
doesn't turn that nicely.
No, it doesn't.
God, I was like, I thought that'd be a sharper turn. That
It
does
doesn't
not
turn that
turn
nice
nicely.
because it accelerates so fast.
I was like, let's try
dab
this
on the
again.
brakes there.
Got to stay within the zone so we can
Right, let's
Okay.
slow us down a little bit on this one.
your average on my laptop.
There we go.
Go.
Nope, totally missed that. Yeah, I'm about to say, this does not turn well. But surely, will that affect with
just
if you
so
tune it though? Will you be able to tune it a little bit
The
to?
reason it doesn't turn that well is because you're trying to accelerate through the corner, but it accelerates at such a rate that it ends up just running wide. Like you're going, you
I'm
end up
doing it again,
accelerating
look.
fast and it
There
can
you
go
go.
around the corner.
Well, you still
Sorry, I
got
still
the
made it.
speed zone.
Yeah.
So, power on.
Throw it out the
through.
other end.
Go, go, go! That can be way faster than that. That was
Oh, yeah.
that was super slow for that car anyway. But yeah, about to say, definitely the way it drives is completely different. Is that because it's electric, or is it just because of the engine and stuff?
Partly, yeah, and I think because it's got
No,
a
just
wheel,
very electric.
one engine per wheel, one motor per wheel. Gives it a unique handling characteristic as well.
And you
Nice.
mentioned that it can actually torque vector completely independently on the wheels.
Yeah. So being electric, unlike some hybrids can do this too, it'll put one of the motors into regeneration. So, for example, when you turn in the back inside wheel, it would put into regeneration, and that just helps to rotate the car onto the apex.
Around Horizon. Might even be able to
yeah.
wangle a reward.
So by that you mean it's actually recouping energy to charge.
Yeah,
the
it's
battery.
recouping the energy as well as helping you turn.
Wow. And that almost seems like cheating.
Well, in Formula One, it was deemed cheating because McLaren sort of had a system like that where they had two brake pedals, and
Right. Okay.
the driver could choose which side to brake on. So as he went into the corner, he'd brake more on the inside.
and that was deemed cheating. But was it deemed
yes.
cheating before or after they won?
After people found out about it, funnily enough.
Oh, that's great.
So a bit more about StarCard. Do we? I was going to say, do you reckon people will complete this fast? Because I mean, I know a lot of our community are very like to be one of the first. Do you reckon people will complete it quite quickly?
Absolutely. People who have played the game a whole bunch, I will expect them to have a fair amount of StarCard completion. Actually, when we set a number of the goals, we do it by looking at.
Will I hit the speed?
Okay, yeah, okay.
Will I hit the speed?
200. Whoa!
Oh, look at that! That's so nice.
Miles an hour.
I love Danger Signs.
Look at this.
Look at that fly! Sorry, I like Danger Signs.
Right.
So yeah,
Okay.
you've got a mixture of like short, medium, and long
Yes.
goals there for people.
And they kind of tick off. If you just bring it up again, Retro, by just pausing the game and going into Horizon Life. They have like multiple states that they go through. So if you just go into PR Stunt Superstar, you can see that some of them are red and some of them have gone bronze. They have multiple states.
Yeah.
They go bronze once you've started completing them. They go silver once you're halfway, and they go gold when you hit the objective for the mainland for the base game.
I was about to say, it's really good. So what does blue mean? Is that just because they're races, I guess?
Yes,
The
they're
colour
races.
matches the thread of the
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Really nice UI consistency there.
Yeah, I absolutely love the design of this screen. Was
Really
it
nice
Aid
UI.
again who
Yeah,
took
it was
these
Aid,
shots?
GG to Aid.
Yeah,
Yes.
did a great
Those
job.
are really good.
Yes. So I mean, it's essentially a way to sit down and structure goals for playing the game in the long term. And some people will join and have a whole bunch of this checked off and will have flares immediately. But it'll also provide you with a way to just kind of sit down and target things that you want to do. So you've come on, you've logged on, you've done the StarCard stuff that you want to do. Sorry, the festival playlist stuff that you want to do, and then pull up StarCard and check off some other stuff. So. And for someone who perhaps hasn't played the game quite as much, this kind of interaction of you complete a goal from StarCard and it unlocks the next couple of things, and you do those, and you do some festival playlist stuff, and it all kind of carries you through the game in quite a nice, structured way. So, okay, so we're going to...
I was about to say, is there anything else that you could tell everyone about StarCard? I think we've covered everything.
I mean, it's a new feature going into the game. There are one or two situations where what it's carrying over might not exactly be what you expect.
I was about to say, because there is that stats panel, isn't it?
Yes,
so
exactly.
People need to be aware that it might be a little bit different.
I mean, I think the place where we might see this is with if people have discovered all the roads. Both on the mainland, but also on Fortune Island. That number might not be what you expect.
I was about to say, this covers the expansion,
Yes,
Fortune Island.
It counts roads. So there are ways to accelerate through the number that it wants you to discover. But I mean, like everything else in our game, there is we have plans. So that's really cool. And I will say no more at this point. Are you?
I was about to say, should we move on from there? I'm just doing all the danger signs here with this car. I love this car. I think this. I mean, it doesn't beat the Peel, but it'll be my second favourite car now.
What does beat the Peel?
That is a good question. I don't think there's anything right now. But moving on, we're going to go on to the next thing, which is our photo slideshow. So we did ask the community to send us some photos of your best tricks and sort of stunt shots. We did get some variety, really, really nice photos. Thank you to everyone that entered the competition. We do these quite regularly, so if you know there's a stream coming up, make sure you keep an eye on our Twitter, which is @WeArePlaygroundGames, because we will be doing some more. And even if you have any themes, feel free to suggest them to me as well, because I'm always open to giving new ideas out for you guys, community. And just one quick mention as well, if you guys do have questions, please make sure you put "Hey Tom" in the chat, and we'll be answering them very soon. So let's take a look at those photos. you to everyone that had their photos involved in that slideshow. There's some really good ones. Guys, I mean, I like Broken Vegetables. That Eye for
so many
Detail
good
was
ones.
so good. But was there any you liked?
I wasn't on the couch last time we did this, and that was amazing. There were so many good ones. The one with Nicolas Cage on the side. Oh my god, so good. And Drebin, I think, with
that was a
drifting
nice
through
shot
the
as well.
autumn leaves.
That was really good. Oh, there we go. There's the Nicolas
That
Cage.
is just brilliant.
Gotta love some creative liveries involved as well. But guys, so we're gonna, just before we get onto custom adventure, let's take a look at what's left in the stream. So coming up, obviously we've got our custom adventure, and then we've got future updates. Then we've got all the updates and fixes that you guys have been waiting for. And to finish off, as I mentioned before, please say, hey Tom in the chat, and we'll answer your questions. So guys, should we start off with our custom adventure changes?
But before we get to that, I would like to report to you that the Rimac is a great car, but it's not good for dirt
Off-roading.
tracks trying to do dangerous
Yeah.
signs. But I mean, I kind of want to take it out and like stick rally suspension onto it and give it some dirt tires. But maybe it's just me being, I don't know, contrary and awful.
Would help off-road for sure.
Yes, whereas this is just, I mean, it's terrible. in the best part, it actually reminds me of some setup that I did for an upcoming Horizon story where there's something a little bit similar to this. And the first upgrade preset that I got from you was like very kind of performance asphalt, and I put it onto dirt. Right. Anyways, that awful side note aside, custom adventure. You mentioned that upcoming stuff. So this is, I think, a little bit of a new thing that we would like to try. Talk about things and cars and design thoughts that are coming up in the live program for the game. More to kind of let you know what we're thinking about and the direction that we might be going in. Just sort of a behind the scenes, almost.
I mean, it'd be very useful for them, especially, to understand the way and the reasons and, the direction we take, mainly, from the community and what they, play in game and how they play and the interaction that they cause.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, the particular thing that we're going to take a look at here, custom adventure, I was on the Discord at the end of last week just chatting with some players about our thinking here, and that's actually, is really refreshing to get an entirely invested look at something, because when we design things we often get really kind of locked into design patterns and design goals, and we can, some situations, get really kind of locked into that, and being able to present an idea and get, in some cases, very unfiltered feedback on it is really useful. I mean, sometimes it's really, really unfiltered, but even that is valuable.
I was about to say, sorry, just to mention there, guys, I did recently tweet the link out to the Discord. If anyone does want to join, the link should be posted in chat as well. Definitely join, because we check it out. As Torben said, we do ask you guys questions, we ask for your input, feedback. We do try to have this across all socials, but the Discord is very a live sort of chat, and it's very, very easy and nice for us to get in contact with you guys, and also you to discuss all your, your feedback, your ideas, or even just discuss everything Forza, really. So definitely, if you haven't already, feel free to join the Discord and come chat to us. So,
Absolutely.
So I plug that.
So specifically, talking about custom adventure, we added this last update, and I'll just run through it again for anyone that hasn't used it. I don't think there are any of them on the stream, but you never know. Basically, custom adventure allows you to choose a racing series across a number of different types, street, cross-country, dirt, and road, and then make further choices like a car class, whether they want Free Roam Rush to be on or off, and then basically just matchmake for that. And we've been, as we said, following the data really closely for this, and we've seen some interesting things. For example, road racing is very popular. Basically 95% of times when people want to start a road racing adventure, it's going to start. But interestingly, the split between Free Roam Rush off and on was not as extreme as we thought. In fact, 1 in 4 people really enjoy Free Roam Rush on. In fact, so much so that they switch it on even in road racing. So I think what this is doing is it's showing that for people who want to play that specific way, this is a way for them to do it without it being on the main kind of stream of the game. Which is really great. So we saw really good success rates across all classes, really averaging out to between 80 to 95% kind of start rates. So that's not factoring in the time that it takes to start, but like for someone who chooses to matchmake, how likely are they to get a match within a reasonable time frame?
Yeah.
And for road racing, it's very successful. The moment we move away from road racing into, say, street racing, it falls off. And when we move into dirt and cross country, it falls off again. In the worst case, we're looking at an average success rate for dirt racing between 10 and 15%.
So why is that? Is that
It
because
means
it's not that popular?
Well,
Is it because so many people are playing road racing?
Well, it's a combination of things. I think what our data is telling us is it's when you say, I want to do cross country and I want to do B-class cross country and I want free run rush off and I want collisions off. This basically means, and we can see it in the data, you're not going to get a game. Because most people, I think, have tried it out and then seen that road racing is where you get the games, so that's where people have gone. That's where people have gone. And what this means, unfortunately, is there's kind of what we call a negative feedback cycle, where people don't choose to do cross-country racing because they've learned that it doesn't start. So it's kind of a nasty feedback cycle where relatively few people are looking at it, and they are split across many buckets, so they're very unlikely to get a game. So what we would like to do to help people who want to do specifically cross-country and dirt racing is essentially merge all of those buckets together. So from Series 11, assuming everything goes according to plan, these options, car class and free run rush and collisions, will be set to default for dirt racing and cross-country. So what this will mean is if you want to do cross-country racing, it's going to be much, much easier to get a game. The game will then choose a set of PI restrictions for you from B class, A class, and S1, and then give you a set of adventures there. So what I'm hoping to see, and by all means, I'm looking forward to discussing this on the Discord, is I'm looking forward to seeing an uptick in the number of people who get games. Once that's done, we can look at the buckets again and hopefully get a positive feedback cycle. So we see people moving away from road racing, trying the other game modes. But I think that will be a good fix. Got some good feedback from the Discord about this solution. We still need to make certain that we can get it done, but I think it will help more people get the kind of custom adventures that they want to play.
Yeah.
So
Great.
I'm thinking that will be a good change.
Oh, thanks, Torben. It's really interesting, I'm sure, for them to get an insight into the future development of the feature.
I mean, speaking of future developments, features, and people who were perhaps paying attention to the pixels on the board, they may have noticed something that you've been working on.
What, pasta?
Oh, man.
Yes, tell us about the pasta.
I just
And while you talk about pasta, I will get into an Italian car.
Do you want to explain
yeah,
pasta?
so a lot of people, the best thing about why I love you guys so much is that, as you saw, we put pasta on the board. It was actually, and I did point this out publicly, that it was a bit of shade on myself because I don't know the Italian pasta words, so I call them pasta tubes, pasta bows, pasta pillows, because I don't know the Italian word, right? Because
Pasta strings. though.
Pasta strings.
Surely you know that one.
Descriptions are more descriptive.
Exactly. That's a better way of saying them.
Yeah, I'll be
But,
honest, I thought pasta strings was some kind of reference to a localization.
You're like, what are you putting in the game? But I must admit, I did love your guys' theories. They came up with all sorts of different variations of cars.
Yes, all kinds of.
We're having an Italian story. We're going to own an Italian restaurant as a Horizon story.
Delivering pizza.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we just had pizza for lunch, so that'd. I mean, maybe that's where we come into pasta. But yes, guys, we do like to add little random things in there. But I must admit, I love how many theories and concepts you guys come up with. So feel free to keep them coming. Definitely keep an eye on our up and coming Torben Tuesday, and feel free to make what you want. But coming on to the relevant things of Torben Tuesday, we did notice a few cars and classes.
That's right, what I was actually working on. I'm really happy that I can finally confirm that class-based rivals is coming to Horizon, because we know
many people wanted that.
We know you guys have wanted it for ages and you've asked about it many times, and I can usually just nervously laugh like, haha, yeah. Because that means we were working on it, but we can't confirm at that point.
That is the worst, right?
Yeah.
When you're sitting, like, and something is running and you've got it on your kit and it's it's really
But that's
cool
still no guarantee that
Yes.
it will make it to see the light of day, because so many things can go wrong. You know, it could unearth bugs, like have weird, strange knock-on effects. But yeah, class-based rivals, we are successfully delivering that for Series 11.
So that is an up and coming. It's not for this week's update. Just to make sure to everyone, it is an up and coming update.
That is not Series 10, Series 11, just to be super.
And just to kind of frame up one of the reasons why, one of the things that come out of it, right? You've spent quite a bit of time in coming up with descriptions for every single track.
Oh yeah, every
in the
route in the game needed some description text writing for it. that was a fun job. But it's been done, and so is all the data set up. So when you go into the Rivals tab in the pause menu, you'll be picking. Are you able to? It's not here in this build, is it?
But
no, so yeah, you'll go to Race Discipline Rivals.
But this will be completely different after this.
No, this will be the same. You'll still pick a discipline, but you'll notice that the number of routes available has increased massively, and that's because of the addition of the class-based rivals. So I think for road events, there's like 180 of them.
Just a few.
So yeah, so you'll get to this screen as normal, but instead of picking a rivals event, what you're actually doing here is choosing the route that you're going to do the event on. So this is where we had to write a description for every route. See on the right-hand side there, that text is talking about the specific rivals event.
Yes, the B-class vintage race.
Yeah, we didn't want that. We want a description of the route that you're going to race. So they're all written by Jay and Rebecca and Alex in the tone of. So yeah, you'll be choosing one of these, and then there'll be another screen after you've selected the route, and from that point you'll be selecting the event you want to do. So there'll be one for each class. So you'll be able to build your car to A class and go and race on the leaderboard, much in the same way that you did on Horizon 3. But the good news is that where possible, we've kept the original Rivals challenges, and they will sit alongside those new class-based rivals. And that's why there are so many, because we already made at least one for every route in the game.
And it almost feels like it's something we should find a way to fit into StarCard. But I don't know. We can discuss that. Maybe a topic for a future Discord brainstorm.
Yeah,
whether that's a good idea or, oh my God, are you mad?
There's only one way to find out.
So yeah, there are a lot of new Rivals events coming, and like I say, most of them are open class. In some situations where we already had a Rivals event that was basically only restricted to a class, that has been converted into one of the new class-based Rivals events. But in the majority of cases, they're all new ones. And they're all set in summer with perfect weather conditions.
Like optimal racing conditions.
Yes, with the exception of street races, which still take place at night.
Of course,
and the one on the ice lake, which obviously has to be in winter. Otherwise, you would be going for a swim. So yeah, I'm really excited about class-based Rivals, because, like I say, you guys have been wanting it so much for so long.
Yeah,
and we've wanted it for so long as well.
You've really been championing it internally to
yes,
get it done.
It's been a lot of hard work, but
yes,
yeah, these things often are.
Well,
surprisingly, you wouldn't think so, but sometimes that's just how it is.
I was about to say, we get a lot of features that get asked, and hey, can you do this? What about that? Bring back that. But it takes quite a lot of time, resources, etc., just to get it in game, and also a lot of testing. You know, we want to get this right, and you know, we want to make sure it's ideal and perfect for the community. So
I mean, just touching in on that, right? You said that there are now 180 road races.
Yeah,
every single one of those needs to be tested.
Yep.
Right? So our test department need to sit down and check that it performs as expected. And making the assumption that, oh, it's the same as it was, it'll work, isn't always the case.
That's when things go wrong.
Yeah.
Because like I said, you can have like unforeseen consequences and strange knock-on effects that happen. Yeah. And the keeping the original events is important, I think, because the original design that we had, where we were crafting like a specific experience, that's something we want to keep.
So you didn't change the weather and the experiences away from those?
No, obviously people have worked really hard to set good leaderboard times on the existing events that we've got.
So you wouldn't want to invalidate those.
Exactly, that's why, well, we wanted to keep them because they're still good experiences. But we recognised that players wanted to, you know, part of the challenge that players were looking for was like building and tuning the cars that they have in their garage to set the best lap times possible. So that is an avenue that we've now.
That car is just so nice.
Came out of nowhere.
Well, yes.
Yeah, that's an avenue we've now explored, or we're opening up to be explored.
Okay. Right. This is turning into bumper cars, it seems.
Game physics. Go.
Though talking about cheeky hints, there were some people who noticed that I was racing the Rally Fighter on a track that previously.
On your monitor screen.
Yes.
Oh wow, that is a very good sleuthing.
They'd spotted that normally
Not
that
many,
car wasn't
though.
available
I'm about to say
on
they-
that Rivals event, and it was also S2, and I can reveal that S2 cross country.
Yeah, so you can look forward to finding the best D-class car to drive down the Juggernaut or the Goliath. That is now a possibility.
Is it going to be you in
An appeal, let's say, a stock. Oh God, imagine that in a stock peel. How long that would take?
It'll be what is it, like 27 miles an hour or some nonsense?
If you're lucky.
Yeah, if that's your jam,
I mean-
there's now a place for you to do that.
That's exactly what I wanted to do.
I'm-
Thanks. Thanks, Matt.
The motion blur and that kind of subtle camera rack. It's just.
Oh, look at that.
Whoa.
Oh, that's so cool.
You're
I
getting
really
some
like this car.
serious speed going there.
And her too. That was nice.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
bad idea.
Yes.
But speaking about little tweaks, should we move on to one or two things that we've tweaked in the game? I think we've done.
just checking one.
I'm about to say a tiny bit from our last update. Obviously, we've been doing some wall riding. Are we able to speak a tiny bit about the tweaks that was done in there?
I'll take
That
over
we have
and,
done.
do shenanigans. And
Yeah.
I was about to say, Chris is the guy for this.
There's one very, very small update to it in Series 10, just to do with the time it takes between hitting a car and the car hitting the barrier and when it triggers the wall riding system. But for Series 11, we've kind of stepped back, looked at all the feedback we've been getting, and we're planning quite a few updates to do with how it triggers the wall riding when you hit a wall as well. We want to make that more lenient, but still capture what a wall riding scenario is. That's a great picture. As well as we're also looking at the logic that looks at car to wall collision, so being nudged into a wall, trying to make that much more consistent, because I think that's kind of the biggest area of feedback we're seeing is people being hit into walls and it's not being caught and they're getting a wall riding penalty.
I was about to say, we had a few videos sent in, so obviously, you know, the people out there that do help us, we took a look at them, and this is some of the feedback
in fact,
that
we've actually gone further with that because it's been so useful. Ian, our engineer, has now also added telemetry, so
Oh, nice.
we can now look at the play sessions where we're getting the videos from, and we can actually see what the wall riding system has done
Oh, that's
when that
cool.
video was filmed. So keep sending those videos in. We've now got the telemetry to go in and look at what's going on there to further tune it.
Nice. Right, have we got any more updates, or should we move on to the updates and fixes that we've got coming up?
I think so. So, would someone like to take over the driving?
Chris
No,
is,
it's
I
a
want to
go
go in the
for
car.
Yes. So actually, on festival playlists, there are some really nice quality of life things that.
Yes, but we can now fast travel from the festival playlist and also start matchmaking. Although we still need to make a few improvements there to make it clearer. But insider knowledge for you guys that is now possible. So if you pause the game, go to festival playlist, and then
Press the fast travel.
yeah,
That's
you
what I
can.
said, it's so handy.
You need to have the house with the fast travel perk to be able to do it.
Is that which house is that? It's on the left. I can't remember, isn't it? I think.
I should.
Can't remember the name off the top of my head.
I wish I could remember because yeah, that would be really useful right now.
It's
But,
not
I
Bamber
can't.
Castle?
No, it's not
No.
Bamber Castle.
I can't remember. I'm just naming houses now.
The house with the fast travel.
That
you
one.
need
That
that.
is the one.
I think it's the one just south of Edinburgh.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of the total wrong house then. Who knows? Just buy them
I
all.
don't know.
Oh, yes, I know. It's near a church. I bought it recently just because I wanted fast travel.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, it is very handy. So, but
And it's also super central,
Yeah.
so it's a good place to just kind of drop into the map.
Yeah.
But once you've got that, you'll be able to.
Yeah, you
fast
can go to the
travel.
pause menu, go to festival playlist, and then select the championship you want to do, and you can just fast travel to it.
Yes.
You don't have to open the map, set a route, and then back out. And also, if you select one of the multiplayer seasonal championships, you lose the mirrors every time you hit something. They just pop off like. Phew. Anyway, yeah, you can find one of the multiplayer seasonal championships like the trial or the playground games, and if you just select those, it'll start matching you for
Oh,
that.
that's really handy.
Yeah.
I must admit the amount of times where I've gone, oh, let's fast travel, and realised I can't, and having to go back to the map. That definitely makes it just so much smoother and a better experience.
Like I say, we do need to make a few more improvements there, but we're working on it. You can also now get a clearer picture of what cars are eligible for a championship, I believe, that has gone into Series 10. So when you're viewing the list of eligible cars for a seasonal championship on the festival playlist, it will now show you all of the eligible cars, not just the ones available in the auto show. So it will include things like the Forza Edition cars and DLC cars and things that you can't get from the auto show, but they are eligible for your championship. So that'll be really helpful. It'll give you, like I say, a much clearer picture of what you can use in the championships. I'm trying to remember what else.
I'm just going to lean forward discreetly and look down at the notes that are just out of camera here.
It's like, what is that on the floor?
Yeah, there's some
I suppose
general-
most of them are quality of life or little
Yeah,
tweaks and fixes that we've done here and there.
and
just to
and
improve things.
addressing abuses of skill systems in Blueprint and things like that. An interesting thing with Blueprint, I knew this going into it, but whenever you give players a UGC tool, they always find ways to use it in ways you perhaps don't expect.
Joys of many players.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. You mentioned upcoming cars. Anything you'd like to?
Yeah, so we've said before, we can't really talk too much about stuff coming in the future because anything can happen, but one that I want to take the risk on and call out is...
You realise you're going to be you're going to be doing Hello Darkness, my old friend, on the next stream.
I'm always doing Hello Darkness, my old friend.
I'm about to say, have you not seen the memes that
There's
come
a
up?
meme of
There
it.
is, I was about to say.
Apparently I have dead-looking eyes.
Yeah, but apparently also a good beard game. Do you know you're all in like against each other for a good beard game on stream? Just saying
really?
that.
Right, no, I didn't know
Can we
that.
put a poll up?
But Polly's got the best beard. I mean, if there's any mods out there.
Yeah.
We'll start growing it out now.
That's it. But yeah, after each stream, everyone's like, oh, who had the best beard? But anyway.
But yeah, one car I do want to call out that fingers crossed is going to be next series is the McLaren 12C. That's one of the ones that keeps getting requested.
Favourite.
So yeah, that one's coming back to Horizon.
Nice.
And with next series there's a whole bunch of cool cars, but
Yes,
yeah.
very much so.
Be very good. Right, so I think that's all our updates and fixes and tweaks and upcoming. So I think
Yes,
the final thing is just our question and answer. And I know we've got plenty of questions. So thanks, guys, for those that have submitted them chat. So just remind you, if we don't manage to answer it today, don't forget you can submit all your questions and suggestions, ideas, any bugs or issues on our support site. So don't forget to check out that as well. Also, there's loads of articles on there which can help you. So make sure you give them a read. Let's start. So got something about paints. Is there any chance of possibly getting any sort of special paints back, similar to the ones in Horizon 1, in the first Horizon?
Horizon 1.
Ooh, I'm about to say that's
I mean, I would have to ask what specifically were they thinking of? I mean, if the person who asked that question is still in chat, please come back with that. Say, right, hey Tom, I was thinking of, or this is what I wanted. And we'll see if maybe we can just understand that.
I can't remember what the paints were in Horizon.
I suppose that's kind of a good point that I just kind of want to point out to people is that sometimes we get queries and questions that are like, hey, can you add this, or what about this feature? And the truth is, the more detail people give, the easier it is for us as well. There's all right saying, hey, can you have such a feature, but if you give details of how you'd like to see it in game as an example, give us examples, give us sort of reasons, or even the thought process behind it, it helps us a lot to make sure that we perfect things. Like for example, like this, is there name the specific paint maybe, give us a sort of even example. I mean, obviously it's hard in a mixer chat, but we're all over social media, so definitely if you are in chat, hit us up on either, at We Are Playground Games, at We Are Playground on Twitter, or at We Are Playground Games on Instagram, or hit the Discord. The Discord's probably the best place.
Yeah. And just kind of tying into that, right? It's incredibly valuable when you if a player runs into some.
That was nice. I don't know what you did, but that was cool.
That's the Roman mile, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh. Anyways, the point I was going to make before you insisted on flying in a car was if you run into some like really weird bug where some really strange thing happens.
Yeah, that's the good.
It's incredibly valuable when people let us know about that. thinking, oh, they've seen it, or oh, it's been reported. That's not necessarily true. And spotting something, reaching out to us, if you find a glitch or a bug or something, it is super valuable.
It is a big game. There's a lot of moving parts. Sometimes it's a little tricky for us to track everything that's going on. So anything you can give us to help us out, just do it.
Even if you think out there's a lot of people that go, hey, I bet the devs must know this. Truth is, we probably don't. The more the merrier. Also, don't just be like, hey, fix this bug. Like, tell us about the bug. I mean, is it a ladybug? Like, like what sort of bug is this? But definitely give us more information if it's at a particular point. If you have screenshots, videos are amazing. I mentioned earlier about Chris using videos for the wall riding. Videos are probably one of the perfect opportunities for us to be able to fix things. But yeah, we'll move on to another question.
Just as a reminder, though, we can't fix the world, can we? That's something.
Why not? I'm kidding. I mean, I wish we could.
That was very philosophical.
No, the world is so broken. I mean,
yes,
the game's world.
Yes. There are restrictions on things that we can do that can sometimes be quite obtuse. But I mean, letting us know about it is just incredibly valuable, and it's really, really good when people tell us.
Yep. The next question is quite a good one, actually, for everyone. What is the most challenging thing about creating Horizon? Would it be like the cars? I mean, obviously you've each got your own sort of thing that you do in departments, but that's quite a really good question.
About creating Horizon.
Yeah, have you maybe
That
faced
really
the
depends
challenge?
on who you ask as well.
I was about to say, if any of you want to chip in for that, I was about to say.
I think
good question.
part of the challenge is because it's so many things to so many people.
Yeah, I agree.
It's about high-speed racing for some people and precision collisions off hyper racing line adherent driving, and that's great. It's part of the game. And for other people, it's about ludicrous cars doing ludicrous things. For me, I think Horizon is about plugging into the freedom that cars represent, and finding a way to kind of balance that, which I think is really core to what Horizon is. I think maybe that's hardest.
I was about to say, we've got so many different players and also skill type of players, and you've got the casual, you've got the hardcore. People like different aspects to just be able to create something that we can show and have everyone come together and enjoy. I think that's probably most it's such a beautiful aspect, but it's also quite, it's incredibly challenging just to get it right. And, will you ever get it right? It's always an improving thing, and we'll always keep moving forward with it with the help of everyone out there. And that's quite a good question. I like that question.
Testing your own PR stunt, difficulty balancing, that's pretty hard.
I was about to say.
That's really mechanical, but it's absolutely true, right? Because, I mean, when I was...
Especially when the game's in flux, like earlier in development.
Yes. And suddenly a PR stunt isn't there anymore.
Yeah.
Balancing Horizon stories, for example, right? Often I know how I designed them, and I know what kind of the path through it is. And thinking outside of that box and thinking, well, someone who hasn't tried it, maybe they don't know this, so maybe it feels much harder than it is.
Sometimes as well, like, we have a good idea that is kind of like bound by limitations we can't do anything about. I'm trying to think of a good example. Sometimes, for example, I might want to make a seasonal championship that is using the BMW iSetter. It's a seasonal playground event, and I want to create an experience where everyone's in the BMW iSetter. It's a fun car, right?
Yes, I remember this.
Yeah, this is a true story. It actually happened. But there are limitations on how I can set up that championship in that the car is a D class at stock. And if you don't already own it, then you end up with a rental version of the car,
which is D class.
Which is D class. So although I intended an experience that was driving an upgraded version of the BMW iSetter, which I thought that'd be really good fun, some players got stuck in the D class car and didn't have fun.
Yes, it's hard, this making game stuff.
Sorry if you were one of those players.
Right, so we are running a little bit over time now, so I'm just going to quickly get through the final questions and that, because I know I've seen quite a few. So this is something I think a few of us discussed. Are we able to sell back duplicates on the wheel spin? I know quite a number of people have asked this actually. So
I don't want to put my head on the block and promise it, but it's definitely on a short list of stuff that we would like to do. Yes, the basic idea would be that if you get a duplicate, you can sell the duplicate for a credit value.
Yeah.
But I mean, the immediate first question is, what happens if you get 2 duplicates? What happens if you get 3 cars and you want to keep 2? These are solvable problems, but it's something that we know about and we acknowledge and we would like to fix.
Yep. So the next question is, so a lot of people have been asking about voting. Was there ever a chance that we could potentially bring back voting to online championships, just in case, people don't like sometimes being stuck in the same one?
Okay.
It comes up a lot, doesn't it?
It does.
We talk about it quite a bit.
I think it's important to explain what we saw on Horizon 3, which motivated us to remove it for Horizon 4. And what we saw is that people voted in such a way that the system tended to end up in S2 and S1 all the time. Because when you were given voting options, it was current class, class up, or class down. And people would tend to vote up on the assumption that S2 is better.
It would just rise to the top.
Right, and then it would just kind of fluctuate at the top.
And obviously there are different ways we could do that if we revisited the subject. And that's all stuff that we are considering. So,
I mean, one of the things that we discussed was this specific question came up when we were brainstorming on the Discord, and there were suggestions like perhaps you can never choose the same thing twice in a row. But that does kind of, I mean, it expands and makes the problem harder to solve.
Yeah.
But as you say, Matt, it's something that we're aware of. I can't guarantee that we would do it, but I mean, we're aware of it.
So just moving on, we did touch this earlier, but for those that might have missed it, people are asking, will they get credit if they've already completed things as such? But we did say that it would already.
So it's one of these examples of a yes but answer. There are some situations where it's essentially tracking a new stat, like for example the number of showcases that you have won. And we didn't track that previously, so that one, for example, won't carry over. But roads driven should, races unlocked should. Broadly speaking, the majority of the stats should unlock based on what you've done previously.
Yep. So the next one I could probably answer, because I get asked this a lot, is there any way to privately auction cars? And I know I often get asked, hey, what about gifting cars? I know it has been a thing before. It's always comes up in discussion. The only issue I think a little bit is that there's always the sort of behind the scenes black market, as I like to call it as such, which unfortunately, as I know it's a very good idea being able to gift cars, you want to be able to do it safely, be able to gift it your friends as such, or help out people that are brand new to the game. But the problem is there are a lot of people out there that essentially sell cars for money, and that is actually against the rules. But it's very hard for us ourselves to enforce that. And I think there's a lot of, there is a lot of pros and cons, and it's whether we want to go into that, and because it is something that we can't control, we can't really have any effect over, and unfortunately that's sort of overweighing the whole ability. It is something we do constantly discuss and bring up. I don't know, but I mean, that's the main reason why we haven't currently.
It boils down to the fact that there are real problems with people trading cars directly and moving value around in a way that is not, that has real problems associated with it. So I think that is not a feature that we will be doing.
No. Okay, so that is our final question. So I think that's it for today. We have showed some things off there. You've got all the little tweaks and updates. Also, we've got a brand new feature, Star Card. So I'm definitely excited to give that a go. Don't forget, the update will be live with the season changeover this Thursday, 3:30 BST, so UK time. Definitely look out for our amazing tweet pun that goes along with that to see when it goes live. But thanks everyone for joining me today on Update 10 stream.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys later.
Bye. Bye.
Play it on Xbox One.